Hi, hello, it's Nikki and welcome to my messy bookshelf. Today I'm here to share my weekly reading wrap-up and my end of the month wrap-up because I was participating in Horror Mayhem this month and it was a lot of fun. So I will just get right into it. So the first thing that I read, or I guess it would be the last thing that I read, was a short story by Roald Dahl called The Landlady, and this one was written in 1959, and this is a short story about a young gentleman who moves to a new town and he is looking for a pub to stay in, and he runs across a very delightful and charming little bed and breakfast run by a very mysterious landlady, and that is all I will say about that. All the stories in this collection I remember being incredibly creepy, and this one was no different. So enjoyed that one. So that was towards Horror Mayhem. The next thing that I finished is actually one that I have been reading for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and I finally finished. And I actually do consider this part of Horror Mayhem because of the content that was in it. So I finally finished The Cruelest Month by Louise Penny, which is the 3rd book in the Inspector Gamache series, and I don't know why, it felt like it took me so long to finish this book. I will be honest and say that about halfway through, I was getting very fed up with some of the characters that I just could not stand. And I was also getting a little frustrated with the background underlying drama that's been going on for the last 3 books. I was very frustrated, but I did continue reading, and I will say that as I continued, I was all in. So I thought for a moment that I was going to, this was going to be my last Louise Penny because I was getting really annoyed. And I think we were meant to, but I did finish, and like I said, as I approached the end, I was all in, and I really enjoyed this one. So this one, we are back in Three Pines around Easter, and we are following Inspector Gamache as he investigates another murder. But we are also seeing a lot more come out about some of the history of Inspector Gamache and some of the baggage that he has. So it was very interesting, and I was glad to get some answers finally, because they keep bringing up this thing, or they have been she has been bringing this up in the last 3 books, and I finally got some answers. So really enjoyed this one. The reason I'm considering this as part of my Horror Mayhem is because there was a bit of a haunted house feel to this one, and it does take place in a haunted house, and there were 2 seances. So I found this one to be a lot more creepy than the previous 2 that I read. So I did consider this as part of Horror Mayhem. Now, finishing up with Horror Mayhem, I did read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 short stories and a novella. So it was Decades of Dread, and I did range from, I did 1, 2 from the 1890s, 1 from the 1910s, 1 from the 1860s, 1 from the 1870s, 1 from the 1950s, and 2007, so the 2000s. And I don't know if I said 1 from the 1960s, so I thought I had a pretty good range of decades there. So I really enjoyed Horror Mayhem this year. I did participate last year, but I enjoyed myself a lot more this time. And I think it was the variety of things that I was reading, so I consider that a success. But moving on to what else I finished, I did read another very random book, and that is They Do It With Mirrors by Agatha Christie, and this is one of the Miss Marples that I read many years ago. I think I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads, but this previously. And this is one of those ones that I could not remember who done it, and I didn't remember too much about what happened. So I did enjoy it a lot more this time around. Definitely moved up a star, definitely. This one we're following Miss Marple as she is visiting an old school friend in her lovely mansion, to discover what is wrong, because something is wrong in her friend's life and no one can quite put a finger on it. So I enjoyed it a lot, and I love that it has Miss Marple throughout the entire book. But that is it for what I have finished. The next two things are going to be carryovers because I will not finish them before June. So I have been making slow but steady progress in Mayflower, and I am finding it so fascinating. Nathaniel Philbrick's writing is excellent, in my opinion. I have not been bored for even a moment, and I want to continue reading, so this will definitely be getting carried over. If I would have had more time, perhaps I could have finished it, but yes, I am very much enjoying hearing about the settlers, the colonizers, as they came over, and like what's going on. They have made landfall and they are exploring New England. So that is what is happening right now where I am. We went all throughout the history of them being displaced from England and originally settling in, I think it was the Netherlands, and not wanting to become, they basically wanted to set up their own colony and not become part of another country. So that's what led to them getting on the Mayflower and going to the New World. So it's very fascinating, and I will, like I said, be carrying this over. And then the next thing is I just didn't have time. I think I am going to love this. What I have read so far, I'm hooked, I think. And that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And I just didn't have time. So I started this while I was traveling, but I did finish my Louise Penny. And yeah, lots of stuff happening this week, but I will be carrying this over as well. I think I'm going to love it because so far I have really been wanting to, like, I think I'm hooked. So yeah, we will continue this, and this is about a man or an astronaut, and he wakes up on his spaceship very, very far from home, and his two companions are deceased. And I haven't really gotten much farther than that, but yeah, seems very fascinating. So I am looking forward to continuing on with this one. And as far as what my June reading plans are besides these two carryovers, I will be making a separate video because I am trying something a little bit different this time, and I will be trying my hand at a TBR jar and see how I like it, because I have been very hesitant to use one. But yeah, I thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. I would love to hear if you have read any of these or what you're reading. And yes, just thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.